We've all heard about the 10x developer, right? This idea.
That myth, the legend.
Exactly. Sometimes it sounds like this coding genius who's just impossibly fast. Or, the other side is it's just someone pulling crazy hours.
Right. Unsustainable effort or just pure, maybe innate talent.
Mm-hmm.
But what if it's not really about either of those?
That's exactly what we're diving into today. We found this really insightful article over on DEV Community by Amr Baker Sadiq 771. It's called 7 Habits That Quietly Made Me a 10x Developer. No, not ChatGPT.
Ooh, interesting title. So not about AI then?
Nope. The core idea is pretty powerful, actually. It argues that getting that massive output isn't about, being born brilliant or relying on the latest AI tools. It's about building specific, kind of quiet, consistent habits.
Okay, I like that. So our mission here, for you listening, is to really pull out the key insights from this piece. We want to show how these small, incremental shifts can actually lead to, well, huge gains in productivity.
Yeah, for anyone, really, not just developers. We're focusing on the actionable stuff, the things you can maybe try out yourself. Getting you well informed on this, frankly, surprising take on high performance.
Sounds good. Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's unpack this. The author is clear, right? This 10x thing isn't one big jump. It's cumulative, built from lots of small improvements. So where does it start? What's habit number 1?
Habit 1 is, I write code that writes code. Now, importantly, he stresses this isn't about using like ChatGPT or other large language models to generate your actual product code.
Ah, okay. So what does it mean then? Automating yourself.
Pretty much. It's about automating your own repeatable tasks. Think about building little scripts, generators, scaffolding tools, things that handle the grunt work.
Okay, like what kind of grunt work? Give us some examples.
Sure, like creating tools to automatically set up those boilerplate files you need for every new project.
The standard stuff.
Right. Or generating basic CRU'd endpoints, create, read, update, delete stuff for handling data, even setting up testing stubs or GitHub Actions workflows. He mentions this practice. If he touches a project task more than twice, he tries to abstract it into an internal tool.
An internal toolbox. Okay. So how does that get you towards 10x? It sounds smart, saves a bit of time maybe, but...
Well, it's about scale. The leverage comes because you literally stop solving the same problem over and over again.
Okay. You invest time once.
Exactly. You invest a little time up front to automate, and you eliminate that entire class of tasks from your future workload. It scales your effort. The author claims it saves dozens of hours eventually. It frees you up for the harder, more interesting problems.
Right. You're optimizing your time investment.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. So that efficiency focus, it seems to bleed into self-awareness too. What's the next habit? It sounds like it's about thinking ahead.
It is. Habit 2 is, I always design for future me. This shifts the focus. It's not just about getting the task done. It's about designing your work so that anyone, including yourself 6 months down the line, can understand it easily.
Future you. I like that. So avoiding that feeling of, what on earth was I thinking when I wrote this?
Exactly that. It's proactive clarity.
So what does that look like in practice? What kinds of things are we talking about?
Well, simple but powerful stuff. Writing really descriptive commit messages when you save code changes.
Okay.
Using function names that, actually say what the function does. Adding comments, but telling comments the why, not just repeating the what.
Right, not the obvious stuff.
Yeah. And structuring your project files logically. But here's a key one he mentions. Writing the readme.md file, the documentation, before you even start building the thing.
Oh, interesting. Before. Why?
Because it forces you to clarify your thinking up front. What are you building? Why? How will it work? It solidifies the plan before you get lost in the code.
I see. So what's the real payoff there? The 10x payoff?
You waste way less time trying to figure out your own old work. Or anyone else's, for that matter.
Right. Future, you can just jump back in.
Exactly. Or a new team member. It speeds up everything that comes after the initial work. You maintain momentum instead of getting stuck deciphering the past. It's efficiency through clarity.
Okay, so designing for the future. That makes sense.
Which actually leads to a really important question. If you're thinking ahead, how do you apply that to something notoriously painful, like debugging?
Ah, yes, debugging.
Yeah.
That brings us neatly to habit 3. I document before I debug.
Document before debugging, not after.
Before. It's about taking a structured approach before you dive into the code weeds.
Yeah.
Forcing yourself to think methodically first.
Okay, walk me through that. What does that look like? How do you document?
So the author suggests writing a quick debug log. Could be in Notion, a markdown file, whatever. Just a simple structure.
Okay.
You write down the issue. For example, Upload button crashes on Safari browser.
Clear problem statement. Got it.
Then, an assumption. What do you think might be causing it? Maybe could be a blobbing compatibility issue on Safari.
Okay, a hypothesis.
Right. And then, the plan. What steps will you take to investigate? Like, 1, try to replicate it on Safari version 14. 2, check how MIAIM types are being handled. 3, maybe try replacing the file reader API with async await.
Ah, I see. So you map it out first. You're not just jumping in and changing random things.
Exactly. Writing it down forces you to think clearly, to strategize. The claim is you end up debugging smarter, not just harder.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It stops you from just flailing around, trying stuff until something sticks. It's systematic, cuts down wasted time.
Precisely. It optimizes your problem solving.
Okay.
So there's a real pattern here, isn't there? Automating repetition, designing for future clarity, systematic debugging. It's all about building your own productivity multiplier.
It really is, which leads perfectly into habit number 4. I build tiny tools for myself.
Tiny tools, so not big, complex software.
No, exactly. These are small, often non-product-oriented utilities, things that act as personal productivity force multipliers, as the author puts it. They solve your specific little pain points.
Okay, examples. What kind of tiny tools are we talking about? Maybe how could this apply outside of development?
Sure, the author built things like a command line tool, text-based commands to batch rename screenshots. Super specific.
Yeah, but probably saves a lot of clicks.
Totally. Or a script to turn GitHub code repositories into PDF documents, including the README file, a local tool for scraping keywords for SEO research, a generator for VS Code snippets.
Okay, I can see how those would help a developer. What about someone, say, in marketing or writing?
Well, the principle's the same. It could be a custom spreadsheet macro that formats your weekly reports automatically, or maybe a text expander tool that inserts common email phrases with a shortcut, or even a simple script that organizes downloaded files based on their type. Anything that removes those little repetitive annoyances.
Those micro pains, as you called them earlier. So getting rid of the small, nagging tasks, what's the real impact there? It sounds small.
The impact is bigger than you'd think. It's about reducing cognitive friction. Every tiny, annoying task takes up a little bit of mental energy, right? It pulls you out of flow.
Yeah.
By automating them, you're not just saving a few seconds here and there. You're preserving your focus, your mental bandwidth for the complex stuff. You avoid getting constantly bogged down in busy work. It's about optimizing mental energy.
Optimizing mental energy. I like that. Okay, so building tools is one thing.
But these tools become even more powerful when you combine them with smart time management, which brings us to habit 5. I time box the deep stuff.
Timeboxing. Okay, so setting aside dedicated time for focused work.
Exactly.
Creating these no-code zones, though it applies beyond coding for really concentrated, deep work.
Yeah.
Protecting that focus bubble.
That sounds great in theory. How do they actually do it? Sticking to it seems like the hard part.
Definitely. The practice involves actively avoiding the usual distractions during these blocks. So no checking Slack, no scrolling Twitter, no jumping on those urgent code reviews that pop up.
Wow, discipline required.
For sure. They literally block out time on their calendar, maybe 90-minute slots marked heads down, critical feature only, or tech debt sprint. It's a clear signal. This time is sacred.
And for non-devs?
Same idea. Block out an hour for writing that proposal notifications off. Dedicated time for research, no interruptions allowed.
Right. Does the article give tips on how to defend that time? Because, life happens. Urgent requests pop up.
It doesn't delve deep into the defense tactics, but it strongly emphasizes the impact of doing it. The point is that context switching just destroys your momentum.
Yeah, it really does.
So timeboxing actively preserves that momentum. You actually make significant progress on the hard stuff. Instead of bouncing around feeling busy but not achieving much, it's about intentionally building sustained focus. Okay, that focus makes sense. And it seems like the next habit connects to learning, but not just learning code snippets.
Exactly. Habit 6 is I steal workflows, not just code.
Steal workflows. Okay, explain that.
It means looking beyond just grabbing a piece of code from Stack Overflow or somewhere. It's about observing, understanding, and then adapting entire successful systems and processes used by others.
So looking at the bigger picture of how efficient people or projects operate.
Precisely. The author gives examples like studying how top open source projects on GitHub structure their CI/CD pipelines, those automated build and release processes,
Okay.
or how they manage their release cycles, or even how successful independent developers, indie hackers, automate their product launches. Then you take those proven ideas and adapt them to your own context.
So for someone maybe in content creation, this could be like analyzing how a really prolific blogger manages their editorial calendar and promotion.
Exactly. Or how a successful marketing team runs campaigns from start to finish. You're looking at the whole system, the workflow, not just one isolated tactic.
And what's the 10x logic here?
Uh-huh.
Why workflows over code?
Because, as the article puts it, code is temporary, but systems are forever.
Hmm.
A specific piece of code might become obsolete quickly, but a well-designed, adapted workflow, a system for getting things done efficiently, provides a sustained advantage. You're building on the proven success of others' processes. It compounds your efficiency over the long haul.
Building on proven processes. I like that. It feels like it connects all the previous habits together.
It does, and it all culminates in the final habit, which is really about making this improvement continuous and intentional.
Which is habit 7. I do a weekly retro, even solo.
A weekly retro, like the agile team practice, but just for yourself.
Exactly that. A brief, consistent ritual of self-reflection, like a mini review of your own week's performance and process.
Okay, what does that involve, and how does it find those invisible time leaks the author talks about?
It's super simple, actually. Every Friday, they take just 10 minutes. 10 minutes. And answer 3 questions.
Okay, what are they?
1, what went well this week? 2, what broke or slowed me down? And 3, what will I automate or improve next week?
Simple, but I can see how that would be powerful if you do it consistently.
That's the key. It forces you to actively look for those small inefficiencies, the little things that drain time or cause friction, the invisible time leaks you might otherwise just ignore or get used to.
So it's not about huge changes every week, but constant small adjustments. That makes growth sort of inevitable.
That's exactly the word the author uses, inevitable. Because you're consciously refining your process every single week. Improvement isn't left to chance, it's built into your routine. It's the accumulation of fixing those small leaks that leads to big gains over time. Consistent, incremental optimization. Okay, so bringing it all together, these 7 habits, the article wraps up saying this 10x idea isn't some myth, it's modular.
Yeah.
What's the big takeaway message for our listener here?
I think the main message is that reaching a significantly higher level of productivity, call it 10x, call it whatever you want, it really is cumulative. It's not magic. It's not about being a genius.
Right.
It's built piece by piece, habit by habit. Through dozens of these small, smart improvements, automations, tools, and workflow refinements that just quietly make you faster, more effective day after day.
So it takes awareness and consistency.
Definitely. Awareness of your own process, consistency in applying these habits, and maybe, yeah, a little bit of an obsession with finding ways to save time without cutting corners on quality. But it's achievable. It's not about superhuman skills or leaning on AI. It's about deliberate, continuous self-optimization.
So let's quickly recap for everyone. Becoming that super effective professional, that 10x person, it's not some innate gift. It's about intentionally cultivating these quiet habits. Automation, thinking ahead for future you, documenting before diving in, building your own little tools, fiercely protecting your focus time, learning entire workflows from others, and that consistent weekly self-review.
Exactly. And like you said earlier, these aren't just for developers. Automating tasks, planning for clarity, solving problems systematically, removing small frictions, managing focus, learning from successful systems, reflecting regularly, these apply everywhere.
Absolutely. So think about your own work, your own routines. Which one of these 7 habits jumps out at you? Which one feels like something you could maybe experiment with?
Yeah, which one feels most relevant or maybe even easiest to try first?
And maybe here's a final thought to chew on. If that 10x effect, that outsized productivity, is truly built by plugging these invisible time leaks, what's just one small inefficiency, one micro pain in your daily routine that you could maybe automate, document, or improve somehow this week?
Just one small thing. How might tackling that consistently, week after week, start to compound and really transform your effectiveness over time?